Hi everybody, I'm back. It's video number 2 of the read aloud, the book Love That Dog by Sharon Creech. You remember, the book is about Jack. Jack's not real thrilled about learning and reading and writing poetry. Keeps talking about that in his journal. Talks about ones they've read at school and how he doesn't understand it. Okay, so we're going to start where I left off in my other video. But first we're going to read. And guess what? I learned something new today. I learned how I could share this PowerPoint with you. Mrs. Benerick helped me understand that. So I'm going to show you the first one of the poems about the dog. Hold on. Okay, here it is. It's called Dog by Valerie Worth. And that's pretty cool. There's a picture of the poet, Valerie Worth. So you can read along with me. I'll read it aloud and you could read along. It says, under a maple tree, the dog lies down, lulls his limp tongue, yawns, rests his long chin carefully between his front paws, looks up, alert, chops with heavy jaws at a slow fly, blinks, rolls on his side, sighs, closes his eyes, sleeps all afternoon in his loose skin. Now that was pretty cool. What I liked about it was I could picture what was happening. I mean, I could really picture a dog under the tree and all those things, his tongue and his loose skin. And, could you? And that's the best thing of poetry is from reading the words, you get a picture and an image in your mind, and it makes you feel good sometimes. Sometimes it can make you feel sad. This poem kind of makes me feel good. Do you have a dog like that? Or any kind of pet where you love looking at them just resting and kind of just doing their thing? We've been doing that a lot these days as we're home and not at school, but someday we'll be back to school. Well, anyway, here we go. I'm going to continue with reading about Jack and poetry. January 10th. I really, really, really did not get the pasture poem you read today. I mean, somebody's going out to the pasture to clean the spring and to get the little tottery calf while he's out there, and he isn't going to be gone long, and he wants you. Who is you? To come to? I mean, really. And you said that Mr. Robert Frost, that who wrote about the pasture, was also the one who wrote about the snowy woods and the miles go before he sleeps. Well, I think Mr. Robert Frost has a little bit too much time on his hands. January 17th. Remember... Oh, wait. Let's go to the pasture poem. Hold on. Let's read the pasture poem real quick because it's a small poem. This one is written by Robert Frost, okay? It says, I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the water clear I may. I shan't be gone long. You come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother. It's young, it's so young. It totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. So that's the pasture poem. There's some words in there that are kind of old that we might not use so much anymore because that's how long ago Mr. Robert Frost was around. So that's when a dictionary might come in handy. And also remember, some of the words have multiple meanings. Remember that? We talked about multiple meanings. We could go to the dictionary, and that's what I had to do when I study in poetry, is go to the dictionary and see what other meanings there are. It's a good way to study poetry. January 17th. Remember the wheelbarrow poem you read the first week of school? Maybe the wheelbarrow poet was just making a picture with words, and someone else, like maybe his teacher, typed it up, and then people thought it was a poem because it looked like one, typed up like that. And maybe that's the same thing that happened with Mr. Robert Frost. Maybe he was just making pictures with words about the snowy woods and the pasture, and his teacher typed them up, and they looked like poems. So people thought they were poems. Like how you did with the blue car things and reading the small poems things on the board. On the board, typed up, they look like poems, and the other kids are looking at them, and they think they really are poems, and they are all saying, "Who wrote that?" January 24th. We were going for a drive, and my father said, "We won't be gone long. You come too." And so I went, and we drove and drove until we stopped at a red brick building with a sign in blue letters, Animal Protection Shelter. And inside, we walked down a long cement path, past cages with all kinds of dogs, and big and small, fat and skinny, some of them hiding in the corner, but most of them barking, and jumping up against the wire cage as we walked past, as if they were saying, me, choose me. I'm the best one." And that's where we saw the yellow dog, standing against the cage, with his paws curled around the wire, and his long red tongue hanging out, and his big black eyes looking at a little sad, and his long tail wagging, as if he were saying, me, choose me. And we did. We chose him. And in the car, he put his head against my chest and wrapped his paws around my arm, as if he were saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And the other dogs in the cages get killed, dead, if nobody chooses them. January 31st. Yes, you can type what I wrote about my yellow dog, but leave off the part about the other dogs getting killed, dead, because that's too sad. And don't put my name on it, please. And maybe it would look good on yellow paper. And maybe the title should be You Come Too. February 7th. Yes, it looks good on yellow paper, but you forgot, again, to leave more space between the lines like I did when I wrote it. That's okay, though. February 15th. I like that poem we read today about street music in the city. My street is not in the middle of the city, so it doesn't have that loud music of horns and trucks, clash, flash, screech. My street is on the edge of a city, and it has quiet music. Most of the time, wisp, meow, swish. My street is thin one, with houses on both sides, and my house is the white one with the red door. There is not too much traffic on my street, not like in the middle of a city. We play in the yards and sometimes in the street, but only if a grown-up or the big kids are out there too. And they will shout, "Car!" if they see a car coming down our street. At both ends of our street, are yellow signs that say, "Caution, children at play." But sometimes the cars pay no attention and speed down the road as if they are in a big hurry with many miles to go before they sleep. That reminds me a little bit of something. Let me see if we have... I'm going to switch in and we're going to look at that poem called Street Music. Again, there's a picture of the poet. His name is Arnold Adolph, and the name of the poem is Street Music. Look at the way that poem is all printed. It's not a paragraph, is it? Because it's a poem. So this is how it goes. The city. The always noise grinding up from the subways, underground, slamming from bus tires and taxi horns and engines of cars and trucks and all vocabularies of clash, flash, screeching, hot metal language, combinations as planes overhead roar, an orchestra of rolling drums and battle blasts assaulting my ears with the always noise of this city. Street music. Another one of those, you could almost hear the sounds as the poet describes it. You could see it and feel it, really, if you look at it and read it again to yourself someday. We're going to read one more page, and then we'll stop there. February 21st. That was so great. Those poems you showed us where the words make the shape of the thing that the poem is about. Like the one about an apple that was shaped like an apple, and the one about the house that was shaped like a house. My brain was popping. When I was looking at those poems, I never knew a poet person could do that funny kind of thing. Real quick, let's look at the apple poem. Oops. Oh, let me try that again. Sorry. Oh, there we go. There's the apple poem. It looks like an apple, and it's on red paper. The apple is written by S.C. Rigg. And if you look at it, it's the shape of an apple, but it's all kinds of words that describe the apple. Like it starts with stem, and then it says apple, 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 yum, yum, apple, apple. And I'm not going to read it on, but it says juicy, juicy, green, red, yellow, green, yum, 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 yuck, yuck, yuck. Why does it say yuck? Right in the middle, it says wormy worm, wormy worm. And then it goes on to say how delicious it was. So that's what's called a shape poem. And we're maybe going to get a chance to give that a try someday. So think about that. February 26th. I tried one of those poems that looks like what it's about. Okay, so here's Jack's poem. Jack tried to do his poem about his yellow dog. So he shaped it like a dog, and then it has all kinds of the names of what describes the dog. So that's My Yellow Dog by Jack. So we're going to end here and pick it up again on a third video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of the day.